Arsenal have shocked the world, smashing 3 past the reigning European champions as Declan Rice unleashes inner David Beckham. Today we have a gargantuan video. So from Arsenal's underrated stars to Bukayo Saka's big return, a breakdown of the magic behind Declan Rice and what this means going forwards. As per, let's break it all down and discuss the 5 things we learned from Arsenal 3, Real Madrid 0. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Bass14. Welcome back to your boys' channel. And listen, when you go and beat the European champions, you go and smash 3 past them, let's just say we do have a lot to break down. So if there ever was a time, smash like on this video if you enjoy, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Help your boy on his road to 300,000 subscribers. But starting off with Arsenal's underrated stars, in a game that had an electric feeling going into it, with your boy lucky enough to be at the Emirates Stadium, I will tell you right now, the atmosphere was one of one. The feeling I had was something historic was about to happen. So as Mikel Arteta named this 11, we knew about Kivior at the back, a strong midfield of Partey, Rice and Odegaard, Bukayo Saka back in the team alongside Martinelli and Marino. The Emirates Stadium was taken back, erupting as Arsenal made it 11 Champions League home games without a single defeat. Since returning in 2023, 11 games, 9 wins and 2 draws, a plus 25 goal difference, with 2 players that I believe need to get their flowers. The first one, the excellence of Yuri Timber. Up against a wide forward that people believed should have been the Ballon d'Or winner, Vinicius held to a 6.3 rating, not a single shot on target, 0 out of 3 dribbles, without a single chance created, as he became the latest forward to enter the Yuri Timber penitentiary, as Timber dropped a 7.6 rating, 1 clearance, 1 block shot, 1 reception and 4 tackles, 6 of 11 ground balls won, 94% of passes completed, and a big chance created. We've talked about his consistency, but why don't we talk about his quality? Dropping 8 out of 10 performances every single week. First it was Bradley Barcola, locked off to one side. Then Mo Salah came to the Emirates Stadium, and with Timber on the pitch, even a left back, he got nothing. Now you've got Vinicius Jr., one of the most electric wide forwards in all of world football, a player able to embarrass you out of nowhere, unless of course your name is Yuri Timber. A player that has no fear. He's bold in possession, always trying to break the lines, but more importantly rises to the occasion. Surprisingly still only 23 years of age. I'm not sure about you guys, but in terms of myself, I was not surprised by his performance. Timber is a player that you simply trust no matter what. He's reliable, he's consistent, and you just know you're going to get excellence. The second player we need to highlight though, who I believe dropped a monster class, Uncle Thomas Partey. Up against a midfield of Modric, Camavinga and Bellingham, Thomas Partey was excellent with a 6.9 rating, 61 of 65 passes completed, 2 of 2 accurate long balls, 4 of 7 ground balls won, alongside 3 tackles. They were saying that it was going to be a mismatch, that Partey was going to struggle, but how wrong could they have been? Uncle Partey running back the years, dropping a Rolls Royce performance. With the ability of Miles Skelly to advert into midfield, not only was Partey allowed to play in a pivot, but he was also allowed to move higher, face the Real Madrid team and play to his strengths, firing incisive passes into the attack. A complete midfield masterclass, holding Bellingham, Modric and Camavinga down, with Yuri Timber after the game reposting Partey's photo, with a caption, "This guy." An Arsenal player that has been reliable this year in terms of fitness, as shown today with so much quality still to offer. It makes you wonder in terms of his Arsenal future. Out of contract at the end of this season, what is Mikel Arteta gonna do? Moving on to the second thing, Arsenal's boy wonder, Miles Skelly. Wow. At 18 years of age, in his first ever season at Arsenal, up against a world-renowned forward in Rodrigo. As Alan Shearer once said, pressure, what pressure? Pressure's for tires. As Miles dropped a masterclass, 100% of his tackles won, 100% of dribbles completed, a 95% passing accuracy, 4 duels won, 2 key passes, 1 clean sheet and a 1 assist, for a player that made his senior debut only in September. With Mika Richards saying after the game, that was one of the best performances I've seen from a fullback at his age, dropping a 7.9 rating, not dribbled past a single time. Whenever I see Miles and Timber at the same time, I always get confused of who is who. On one side, Timber locking off Vinicius, then you had Rodrigo against Miles. Again, not a single dribble completed, not a single chance created, or a shot on target. But the craziest thing for me is the level of self-belief. Facing the reigning European champions with no fear whatsoever, the belief to demand the ball pick up and drive Arsenal up the pitch. Playing as an inverted fullback is one thing, but at times in this game, Miles was dictating the entire midfield. Have you ever seen a player this young look so ready? Chest out, head up, demanding the ball because he knows he's got the quality. This, my friends, is an alien profile, running back Arsenal's hell-end heritage, as if it was Wilshere against Barcelona. Then you've got our star boy on the right-hand side, Bukayo Saka making his first start since all the way back in December. Clearly not fully fit, but still able to make an impact, dropping a 7.4 rating, with 1 big chance created, 3 out of 3 ground balls won. You even had Real Madrid fans tweeting, "I'm shaking every time Saka is on the ball." And the stats don't even do it justice. Think about that moment in the first half, up against a physical monster in Jude Bellingham, squaring him up and taking it past him, as if he wasn't even there, putting in a fantastic cross. Therefore, Arsenal had a world-class 9, could have easily been 1-0. But then you've got to talk about his elite physicality, a player in the second half growing into the game. Think about Arsenal's first and second goals. Declan Rice of course deserves all the flowers, but it was Bukayo Saka that made those scenarios. For the first free kick, holding off David Alaba, bursting inside the pitch, and forcing a free kick. The first time was so nice he had to do it twice. This time up against Jude Bellingham, bodying him to one side, bursting through the Real Madrid team, and winning another free kick that led to a goal. We know that Saka is a world-class chance creator, but what we saw in that moment there was an ability to thrive centrally. A player that comes alive whenever he receives the ball, naturally attracting players towards him because they know if you give him too much time, Saka has the ability to knock you out. A player of the highest IQ and highest efficiency, I would say only 60% fully fit. Speaking before the game, as he said, the Ballon d'Or is a dream, but my focus is winning titles at Arsenal. I'm just working hard to do the best for my team. Any individual awards that come after, I'll accept them. And you then start to think to yourself, he's thrived at the World Cup for England. He's produced moments at the Euros as well, on the same pitch as Vinicius, Mbappe and Rodrigo. Yet for me, by far the stand-up forward. Forget about your world-class debates. Bukayo Saka should be seen as a top 5 player, because at just 23 years of age, he's turned up way too many times to not get his flowers. Having been taken off towards the end of the game in what looked like an injury, Mikel calmed the fans down after the game, saying Bukayo has not suffered any serious injury. He's fine, I think it was just a kick. Moving on to the third thing, Arsenal's £100 million moment. In a game in which we saw a story of Arsenal having the XG at 1.69, limiting Madrid at only 0.55. We had the higher possession, we had the final third entries, we had a whopping 64% of the field till, but with Thibaut Courtois putting up a masterclass. To beat Real Madrid is not just about tactics, it's can you produce a moment. So up step Arsenal's £105 million midfielder, as Declan Rice dropped a gargantuan 8.7 rating, with 2 goals scored, 43 touches, 27 accurate passes, as well as 4 shots on target. 2 goals with individual brilliance, from a combined XG of only 0.08, having not scored a free kick since 2021, in spite of the orders of Nicolas Jova, who, as Rice says, was telling him to cross it. Bukayo told him if you feel it, go for it, and the rest, as they say, is history. Rice erupting the Emirates into life, with a screamer in the first place, bending around the Real Madrid wall, in what was an excellent free kick, only to make things better just 12 minutes later, as he became the first player in Champions League history to score 2 direct free kicks in a knockout stage match, with Roberto Carlos watching in the stands. Rice put in a shot that was so top bins, the entire footballing world could not believe it. My reaction was crazy and I'm sure yours was as well. Regardless of whatever team you supported, football fans across the world appreciated, with Kylian Mbappe in disbelief. A free kick so perfect that David Beckham would have been proud, as Rice scored more free kicks today than Kylian Mbappe has his entire career. Bendy like Declan had become a phrase, seen after the game with a massive smile, as he received the official Champions League Man of the Match award, having now scored 6 goals this season, alongside 8 assists. We've talked about his price tag of £105 million so many times, and the same thing I have always said is the fact that he's such a complete all-rounder, defensively world-class, with growing impact in the final third, and ability to make runs into the box with high footballing IQ. And as we saw today, the ball striking is not bad either. Instead of calling him a 6 or a number 8, Rice is far more of a throwback, an old-school English midfielder to the likes of Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard. What makes Rice special is not the fact that he's world-class at one thing, it's the fact that he's world-class at multiple. But if we're talking about midfielders, let's talk about our midfielder playing up front, as Mikel Merino scored once again in a game that he dropped a 7.7 rating. 1 goal from 3 shots on target, 1 key pass and 3 ground balls won. A makeshift centre forward that generated more XG than Vinicius, Rodrigo and Jude Bellingham combined. A player that has now got 6 goals in his last 10 games, with 8 goals for the entire season. And I want to focus on a key part of his goal that I believe was underrated. I'm talking about the movement. Finding himself in the box alongside Rudiger, compact with so many Real Madrid players. Notice the IQ of Merino as he dropped deeper, to open up the space and open up an angle, as he finished first time with so much confidence. I'll put it this way, if that was the goal that Kylian Mbappe scored, the entire world would have applauded. A finish of a top centre forward, a player that people have laughed at and questioned, but under the coaching of Mikel Arteta, we have seen a player grow in performances. For an Arsenal team with no Havertz, no Gabriel, no Ben White, no Jesus and not even a fully fit Saka, Calafiori injured an 18-year-old playing a left back. a midfielder playing up front. For all the talk that Mikel Arteta doesn't have the ability to adapt, we've just beat the reigning European champions 3-0, in spite of all the injuries. You then think about Arsenal in the Premier League. In a recent graphic that shows the volume of injuries in 2024-25, as well as the importance of the players missing, Arsenal have been the most hurt team in the league, with a whopping 27 injuries. Yet while other teams have faltered, Man City found for the Champions League, Tottenham and United in the bottom half. Not only have Arsenal raised their floor, but we're now on the cusp of a Champions League semi-final. Moving on to the fourth thing the defence delivers, and the player that I want to focus on has to be Jakub Kiwior. With all the pressure going into this game, on a player at 25 years of age, with so many skeptics, but a player that rose to the occasion dropping a 6.9 rating, with 1 interception and 1 tackle, not dribbled past a single time, completing 93% of his passes. As Gabriel Magalhaes watched the Arsenal team from all the way in his box, unable to even get up and celebrate, having just had a hamstring surgery, Kiwior on the pitch was doing his duties, rising to the occasion alongside William Saliba, having dropped a man of the match against Everton. We know he's never going to be Gabriel Magalhaes, but what you want from your backup players is dependability, exactly what we got from Kiwior today, who now alongside Saliba has never lost a single game, now unbeaten in 8 games in total. His partner was also on job, as Saliba dropped a 7.0 rating, a whopping 4 clearances, 98% of passes completed, as he was left in utter disbelief after Declan Rice scored his second screamer. When you look at Saliba and the way that he celebrated after Mourinho made it 3, I'm not sure about you guys, but what I see there is an Arsenal fan living his dream. A boy that grew up in the red and white is now playing for his dream club and is growing on a game-by-game basis, as he was seen alongside Kylian Mbappe telling him to get up, saying after the game, "When we keep a clean sheet, we are so proud. We are happy the whole backline did a really good job today. We have to be proud of all the team. Every player who came in, every player who started the game was so good." The same has to be said about David Raya, as he dropped a monstrous 7.8 rating in goal, with 4 saves and 0.24 goals prevented, with 2 saves inside the box and 86% of passes completed. We can't forget the importance of the saves in the first half. With Kylian Mbappe in 1-on-1, Raya was composed and Raya knew exactly what to do, with great handling to deny a rebound. The entire back 5 was on fire today, matured compared to last year, with Raya saying after the game, "It's only half time, the job is not done." So moving on to the 5th thing, Arteta awakes a giant. On a day that Arsenal run back their heritage, with a Thierry Henry tifo before the game, the atmosphere was sensational, it was heritage, as Arsenal dropped one of the highest quality European performances ever seen by an English side, not only defeating the reigning European champions 3 goals to 0, but having registered 11 shots on target. It's the joint most in a single game by a team in a Champions League knockout stage game against Real Madrid. Following in the footsteps of the women, who themselves also beat Real Madrid 3-0, this time it was over to the men. As Thierry Henry said perfectly before the game, they have 15 on their sleeve and we have none, but you need to believe you can beat them. And let's just say Arsenal definitely believed. Think back to last year at a quarter-final against Bayern. In the first leg where we made an electric start, as fast-paced and amazing as it was, the team eventually ran out of steam, naive in the performance, as Bayern got back into that game. Fast forward a year and Arsenal have definitely learnt, not just how to control a Champions League game, but also not to get carried away. As Jude Bellingham says, they have scored 3, but they could even have scored more. We were lucky it was only 3-0, but the second leg is coming. If there is a place where crazy things can happen, it is at the Bernabeu. In a game that Real Madrid have no Eduardo Camavinga, after receiving a second yellow card for kicking the ball away, Mikel Arteta will know the job is not done. For me, I don't care if it's a nasty low block. If we don't even leave our half, going to the Bernabeu, the job has to be professional. Because as we've seen in previous years, with Man City up 2-0, with only minutes left to go, yet Madrid still able to turn it around. But at the same time, Arsenal fans enjoyed the moment itself. Whether you were lucky enough to be at the Emirates Stadium, or watching from across the world, the atmosphere was gargantuan. As Mikel Arteta said, "I was very convinced we could beat them. Declan has never scored a free kick in his career, and we hadn't scored a direct free kick since 2021. Nobody knows in football." As Arsenal fans, we have to appreciate how far Mikel Arteta has brought us. 4 years ago today, we had just drawn against Slavia Prague in a Europa League last 16. 6 years of being starved of Champions League football. 13 years of not even getting past the last 16. And just 2 years of being back in the Champions League under Mikel Arteta. First it was a quarter-final. Now we've smoked the reigning European champions. Whatever your thoughts on Mikel Arteta may be, there is no denying one thing. When it comes to the feeling provided, days like today are a reminder. Moments of pure joy, shocking the entire world of football, of just how far we've come in the Mikel Arteta era. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash the like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of his social medias, and the links are down below in the description. But that was the 5 things we learned from Arsenal 3 Real Madrid 0. Arsenal 3 Real Madrid 0. Arsenal 3, Real Madrid 0. It's crazy, it's gargantuan, it's things you love to see, and I'll see you next time. Enjoy the moment and a bit.